Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Napoleon, and today we're back with another Enlisted video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best premium squads in 2023. For those who haven't watched my previous top 5 best premium squad, it is currently still up there, and as of right now, it still has some of the best premium squads in Enlisted that can offer. Of course, in today's video, we're going to be doing this year's premium squads of 2023, and hopefully this year's is going to be, in my opinion, more up to date, and in my opinion, some are actually much better than the previous premium squads, which is why you should watch this video until it ends. But without further ado, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord, meaning if you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined the Discord, highly suggest that you do. But that said, let's get started with the Enlisted top 5 premium squads for 2023. In the 5th spot, we have the MG42 early and the MG45 squad. Essentially, these two squads are essentially the MG42, except for the fact that these two squads are better versions of the MG42, and you come with engineers and a lot of gunners with this squad. The MG42 early is for Moscow, and the MG45 Clausewitz, or should I say, the MG45 squad is for Berlin. And obviously, in my opinion, both of them are a very special place, not only because of the MG42, which is a very, very devastating machine gun, but the fact that they can also build MG131s with their engineers, which is not only devastating, but can destroy tanks, so that's kind of tells you how devastating they are. And the fact that these MG42s comes with 5 soldiers, including an engineer. And in terms for the Battle of Moscow, it comes with 2 engineers, so that's gonna be amazing. Therefore, in my opinion, this is one of the best squads that you can have in the early and late game, especially for the MG42 early in Moscow. The MG42 is very devastating because not only because is it an MG42, but because it is the best weapon Germany can offer at that point. It is an early version of the MG42, so that's gonna be that. Moving on, we have the belt-fed DP and the drum MG13, which is very good, both of which are very good. The belt-fed DP is essentially a 100-round machine gun that is very, very devastating in my opinion, and this thing can easily just mow down entire squads. It comes with 4 machine gunners and 1 engineer, all of which have the DP belt-fed machine gun, which by the way can one-hit kill anybody because it does have 100-round magazines and has a damage reduction over time at 12, meaning it can almost instantly kill anybody. But another interesting thing is that the belt-fed DP can also build a Dushka, which is very, very amazing. And moving on to the MG13, this is essentially a 75-round magazine of the MG13. It has been featured in my last video. This was in the top 3 spot, and honestly, this thing is just purely devastating. It not only has 5 soldiers and 1 engineer, which means it can build an MG131, but it also has the ability to just mow down everything. In my opinion, this is actually better than the MG42 because of the 75-round magazine. And of the fact that both of these weapons are extremely accurate. Same thing goes with the MG42s and 45. All of these weapons are very accurate and very, very devastating. But that said, let's move out of the machine gun department and move on to the anti-tank department. In 3rd spot, although very controversial, this is going to be the Yak Panther. Of course, if it wasn't for playing with the Yak Panther a little bit these days, I probably would have moved this up to 1st or 2nd place. But after playing with it a little bit these past few days, the Yak Panther is, in my opinion, very, very good tank. Of course, as of right now, it can still be penetrated by the IS-2 1944 frontally, so that's going to be kind of an issue, but back in the day, which is like half a month ago, this thing couldn't even be penetrated by anything front on, which means this thing was extremely devastating. The Yak Panther, as of right now, is extremely devastating. It comes with already 5 crew members, all of which have the best perks in game, so that's gonna be very interesting for a tanker, that is. And it comes with the Yak Panther, which not only has smoke grenades, but an 88mm gun and a machine gun. Not to mention the fact that its frontal armor, compared to any other thing that you can deploy for the Soviets, except for the IS-2 1944, is practically unpenetrable. Just like I said in my Yak Panther video, do not have the thing go side on, because if it's side on, you're practically destroyed. So that's gonna be that. And in terms of the Soviets, we have the Su-100. Now, this thing has a 100mm gun, hence the 100, and it has 4 crew members of tankers, of which they also have the best perks for the tanker class. In my opinion, the Yak Panther is much better than the Su-100, not only because of the gun, also because of the extra crew count and the improved survivability. For those who are wondering, no, the SU-100 is not a slouch either. It is significantly smaller, but it does come with a very good frontal armor at 75, which the Jagdpanzer is at 120. So the SU-100 is slightly lower, so that's going to be interesting. But that said, that is the third spot for you. Let's move on to the second spot, which is the Italian Flamethrower, or the Italian Lanciafiamme. The Italian Lanciafiamme Model 35, which is a very, very devastating weapon. For those who don't know anything about this weapon, this squad is a 5-man squad with 4 flamethrowers and 1 engineer, of which the engineer can repair, or should I say, add ammunition to the flamethrower. This flamethrower is also insane in the fact that it has a very high rate of fire, better than the M1 flamethrower and M2 flamethrowers, has a vertical recoil of pretty much non-existent because it is a flamethrower, has a 200 round magazine for the flamethrower fuel, and its width and damage per flame is 60, the jet length is 32, which means you can actually pretty much use this even at medium to close range, which is insane. Now, this Italian flamethrower is also pretty good in the sense that, because as of right now Enlisted is experimenting with the new progression system, their weapons, the ZH-29, is also very, very, how do I put it in a very nice way, removable, and you can equip them with FG-42s. Yes, you heard me, FG-42s, which, by the way, in this game is very, very devastating. So what I'm trying to say is that after the progression, this thing is actually going to be increased in death rate, because it's going to kill more with FG-42s, and the fact that the flamethrower itself is already very, very devastating. The same could be said for the British Flamethrower Portable No. 2 Mark I, which is also the exact same version of the Italian flamethrower, just that, well, it's for the British, and this time it's just looks different. But that said, both of these flamethrowers are very, very, very devastating, and once the progression hits and you already have these guys, you can upgrade them to having late war equipment, which, by the way, these flamethrowers are just going to devastate in maps like Berlin, Normandy, and the list goes on. If in Tunisia they're already very devastating, think of what happened when you put them in Berlin or Normandy or stuff like that. Hence, this is already the second spot, which, by the way, these things are very, very devastating. But before we even go on to the number 1 spot, I do have some honorable mentions. Continuing with the trend of Tunisia, we have the RE-2001-CN. This has a 250 kilogram bomb for a fighter, which is pretty much insane, considering the fact that the only other plane, in my knowledge, that has this armament of a bomb is essentially the Focke-Wulf in Berlin. And not to mention the fact that this camel, the RE-2001 camel, is also very interesting, and it's an Italian fighter, which actually does kill, so that's going to be interesting, like I said. Moving on, in terms of another honorable mention, we have the Colt Monitor and the Crowley Squad, which is also very, very devastating. After that, we have the Lewis, the Fedorov, the Lewis Squad, and the Fedorov MG Squad. And of course, finally, we have the Jumbo, and the STG-45, and the AS-44. If the AS-44 wasn't essentially added into the game just recently, probably this AS-44 would have been in the number 3 or 2 spot. But let's move on to the number 1 spot, and that is going to be the Thompson 100 round magazine 101st Airborne and the Krykov FG Paras. For those who don't know what this squad is, this is in the Battle of Normandy, and these are essentially the American paratroopers that come with 6 squad members, and they come with a M1928A1 Thompson with a 100 drum round magazine. Basically, if anyone used the 50 round Thompson, well, think of a 100 round Thompson, give it to these guys, and give them airborne abilities, meaning that they can parachute to anywhere they please, and once they get on the ground, they're practically unstoppable, unless due to recoil reasons, because they have a 100 round magazine for their Thompsons. What's more, once they're on the ground, they can also upgrade their weapons with the quote-unquote ammo crates into various weapons that can instantly mow down people. For the Germans, that's going to be the MG42 and various sniper rifles, so this squad is already very, very terrifying at what they already have, and once they already get their stuff from their ammo crates, it's gonna be better. Not to mention, to top it all off, they're paratroopers, so which means that as in terms of strategic and tactical flexibility, they're very, very, very good. Also, it also technically means that you can essentially jump from everywhere you want, anywhere you want, and paratroop to anywhere on the map, so you don't have to run to a place, which reduces time and will increase the surprise rate for the enemies. Needless to say, this squad is very, very devastating, and as a premium squad also gives you a very, very good buff to the fact that I think this is almost insane how good these guys are with a 100-round drum magazine. Pre-Gov FG Paras is also pretty much the exact same thing, except for, in my opinion, a slightly worse FG42. But that said, this is the Thompson 100-round drum magazine. This is the top 5 premium squads of 2023. What do you guys think? Comment in the comment section down below. And what are some squads that you like? But that said, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.